All right, given that the Deca girlies are out, what I want you guys to do is probably take 15 minutes and do this little exit ticket before you watch the video and then compare your answers with my answers here. For number one, it tells you to find the third degree Taylor polynomial for f about x is equal to 5, and I give you a table of values. Now, notice how you have a center at x is equal to 5, so you are not going to have x squared, x to the third, but you're going to have x minus 5 squared, x minus 5 to the third, and then your coefficients. So in this case, you know that we're starting at 2, so my third degree polynomial here is going to be 2 and then minus 1 x minus 5 plus 8 x minus 5 squared over 2 factorial. I did tell you to simplify the coefficients, so that's going to be 4. That's 4. And then plus 18 x minus 5 to the third over 3 factorial. 3 factorial 6, so 18 divided by 6 is 3. So that's your answer here. All right, number 2 is just a review of cosine and knowing what that fourth degree polynomial is. So remember that for cosine, that is going to be 1 minus x squared over 2 factorial plus x to the fourth over 4 factorial. And then it says, use this fourth degree Taylor polynomial to approximate the value of cosine of 1/2. All we're doing here is just plugging in 1/2 and then calling it a day. So cosine of 1/2 is approximately 1 minus 1/2 squared over 2 factorial plus 1/2 to the fourth over 4 factorial. Notice how I just plugged in 1/2. I didn't really simplify that. And notice how I said that this was an approximation. Remember that these Taylor polynomials are approximations of our transcendental functions. So this is not an exact value for cosine of 1/2, but an approximation for cosine of 1/2. Same thing here for number 3. It tells you to convert the infinite series into a well-known function that we have discussed. Then we want to evaluate this function. So if you look at this, it kind of looks like e to the x, right? Except instead of an x, we have 2. So we have that. So we know that it looks like e to the x. But then since we're just plugging in 2, it looks like our sum here is just e squared. That's it. And then for number 4, we want to find the interval of convergence for this series right here. So once again, we're just using the ratio test. X plus 3. Now, please make sure that you understand that the n plus 1 is multiplied with that 3. So this is technically 3n plus 3, n plus 1, 8 to the n plus 1, n, 8 to the n, x plus 3 to the 3n, and making sure that that is less than 1 here. Now, whenever we visualize this and take our limit here, notice how this right here, n plus 1, and this here, n, just goes to 1. So that means that the only thing that we're left is going to be basically anything that we didn't highlight. So this right here and this right here. So that's going to be x plus 3 to the third power over 8. That's going to be less than 1. We can drop our limit because we evaluated this limit in orange right here to be 1. So I'm okay here. All we're going to do now is figure out my endpoints. So then we have x plus 3 is less than 2. So notice how it's in the form of x minus c is less than r. which means that my radius of convergence is going to be 2. And then you could see that my interior points are going to be -5 and -1. And then we just got to plug in -5 and plug in -1 into my series here and figure out what's happening at -5. So if I plug in -5, that gives me -2 to the 3n over n 8 to the n. Now, -2 to the 3 is -8, so this is -8 to the n. Now, the -8 to the n over 8 to the n can be simplified down to -1 to the n over n. And we know that this converges. But please, 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 please make sure that you justify why this converges. So take your limits here. And terms decrease. And absolute value to 0. Therefore, this right here converges. Once again, I don't really care whether this conditionally converges or not. I just care that this converges. So that's my first one at -5. And then I have to do the same thing at -1. So then I have 2 to the 3n over n, 8 to the n. 2 to the 3n gives us 8 to the n, which means that we're left with 1 over n. And that diverges by a harmonic p-series. Which means that my IOC, my final answer, is -5, 1. We include -5, but we do not include -1. And then we also said that my ROC, even though I didn't ask you to do that, that's going to be 2. Alrighty. That one was a fun one.